Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Amit, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking to you about the 10-month update of the hair transplant that I got from Turkey. Now, if you're new to the channel and you have no idea what's going on, I got a hair transplant about 10 months ago from Istanbul, Turkey at Vera Clinic. I got a Sapphire FUE hair transplant from them, and I got 6,100 grafts extracted from my donor area and placed onto my hairline and mid-scalp. I couldn't get the crown done, unfortunately, at the time, but my hopes is to actually get a second hair transplant and fill that area out to make sure my whole head is full of hair. Back in the day, I was losing hair pretty badly, and it wasn't a pretty sight, so I just decided to go for this hair transplant, and I haven't looked back ever since. I started this YouTube channel mainly to showcase my journey from the day it started up until today's video, and along the way I've been providing some useful tips for anyone who is considering to get a hair transplant, or if someone who's already gotten one and just needs to know a couple more things on what they need to do after their hair transplant. Now, if content like that interests you, do consider liking and subscribing, as I try to post videos as much as I can on this channel to help educate you guys and hopefully provide some value. Also, do stick around till the end of the video, as I have some exciting news that I'd like to share with everybody. Alright, so let's talk about the update. At the beginning of this entire procedure, I was not a fan of the fact that I had to go to Turkey to get this hair transplant. The situation that happened afterwards of just not feeling like this was gonna work. 10 months later down the line, I am extremely happy at how it's been turning out. I cannot describe how happy I've been these past couple of months, especially that I've seen the hair grow exponentially over time. I do believe that around the 10 to 12 month mark is really where it's near its end of its growing stages, but it's also where the most density pops up. And truthfully so, based off of what I'm seeing right here, it's looking pretty great to me. I have, again, no real complaints of how my hairline and mid-scalp have turned out, because again, I never expected it to be this good ever in my life, especially after I knew I was losing so much hair. It goes to show, like, if you trust the process, you will be rewarded. Okay, so as I've been doing with all my other monthly videos, I will be showcasing the 360 view of my hairline, my donor area, my mid-scalp, and my crown area. What you're gonna see now is actually the ones that happened before I got my haircut, but I have a video that I took right after my haircut as well for you to see if there are any scars visible after a shorter haircut. Let's just start at the front of my hair. As you can see, it's grown pretty long to a point where it's become a little curly at the front. Sides of my donor area are still the same. Ignore the back, as I've just gotten out of bed. I still keep my hair long for the sides and back to avoid any scars showing. And yes, of course, you can see my lovely bald spot that is still present on the crown. And lastly, the donor area on the other side is pretty much the same all around. And here you can see I've just gotten my haircut, trimmed it down to a 1.5 guard, and you can see a little bit of scarring, but again, that's against harsh light. Generally, I think it's fine for me, and it's barely noticeable from afar. And now here is a video of my hairline and mid-scalp. All right, so here I am brushing my hands through my hair to show you my hairline. Honestly, I think it looks really good and natural. I have to give full props to Vera Clinic, because that was one thing I really wanted to make sure that happened. And my mid-scalp looks even more thick and full compared to the previous months. I didn't think it would get this thick, but here we are. Now I'll show you a little close-up of the crown and how it's been progressing over these months, mainly because of the aftercare that I've been using. Now, although it may not seem very obvious, I definitely do see some small hairs growing more than it used to for my crown. This is because of the Minoxidil and derma roller that I have been using every day, morning and night, to see some sort of hair growth on my crown. Now it's the part of the video where I show you the full monthly progression of the top of my head from month 1 up until month 10. Month 1 is just where I had my surgery, so not really looking that great. Month 2 is where the shedding phase began. Month 3, all I remember is looking like an ugly duckling. Month 4 is when I got my first haircut and started to look a little more decent. Month 5 is when I started to see some density come in. Month 6 is where that density became even more. Month 7 started giving me more confidence of the way that I was looking. Month 8, my hair started to grow at a much faster rate. Month 9 is really when I started to see the density just explode on my head. And month 10, where today is, I feel like I have a full head of hair on my head. I do have a couple of aftercare updates that I like to share as well. First one being is my Minoxidil that I've been using. I've been still using the same product that I've been using for the last couple of months, which is Growplex. I have a video of them linked below. If you're interested, definitely check them out. They are a good product, in my opinion. I've been using it for the past couple of months and I've seen tiny hair growths on my crown, so I can't really complain too much. It is a minoxidil vitafoam based product, so it does give you the same outcome as any normal minoxidil would, but it also enhances a couple of extra DHT blockers and has a lot of natural extracts to it. I like the product. If you're interested, there's a link below. Definitely check it out. Next up is Finasteride. I have been taking 1.25 milligrams every day for the past 9 months, but this month I decided to change it up a little just to kind of see if any difference was to happen with my hairline or my mid-scalp with the transplanted hairs. So instead of taking it once a day, now I've just cut it down to once every other day. So I alternate my days now for Finasteride. Again, I've never really experienced any side effects. I've never had any issues in regards to that. So I feel I'm a little fortunate enough to be able to try switching up a little bit. For the past month, it's been all right. I haven't had any complaints at all. I can also still get it up. If you are having these side effects on Finasteride, if that's what you're afraid of, you know, by all means you should stop it. But if you're not, just keep going with it because the medication seems to be working, for me at least. My hair is still looking full and thick.
That's what she said.
Other types of aftercare I'm taking is fish oil, biotin, B12, and collagen. These are just my usual everyday type of vitamins now I take every morning. Forced a habit now. Every morning I wake up when I start taking the pills. It's again been helpful for me. I also keep healthy and fit, so I just make sure I take my vitamins every morning. So I know I've mentioned this in my past couple of videos. I'm still a big advocate of using Fibres. It is still part of me because I have to use it for the back of my head, but miraculously I don't ever use it anymore for the front of my head because again, my hair is thick enough to cover up anything that I think needs to be covering. It's insane to me that I never thought I'd come to this day, but it's a pretty awesome feeling. But now the hope is to continue using it up until I get my second hair transplant, and once that's done, I won't have to use it again. That's the dream. But if you're interested in using the hair fibers that I've used, I have a couple of videos linked below. If you're interested in some of the products that I use, they're all linked below. Now, speaking of a second hair transplant, this is, I guess, the exciting news that I want to share with you guys. So I finally booked my second hair transplant. I've decided to go back to the same clinic that I went to initially for my first hair transplant, which is Vera Clinic. I've linked to them below as well. The reason why I'm going back to them too is mainly because I've seen how they operate and I see how they work, and I think in a weird, strange way, I'm more comfortable just going back to them to avoid any issues with anyone new. I've been in contact with my consultants for the longest time throughout this entire process. Like, they've never let me feel like I was alone or away, or they just did the surgery and that was it. No, it's always been, they've always had that type of level of support with me every step of the way. They'd always check in every other month or every 3 months. At least they would always be there. I know there's a lot of fear that when people won't go for hair transplant, that's it. No one's there to take care of them. Well, you still have the consultant, you also have me. But that's one of the things that drew me towards Vera Clinic in the first place, their customer support even after the transplant was done. So I am officially going in April of this year, which is basically 2 months. I still have a couple updates to give you guys prior to that, but my hope is to be able to film over there and really get to the nitty-gritty of everything and how it's done and showcase it to you guys. So definitely do consider subscribing for that future video. I have a lot of other stuff planned as well up until then, but for now, I'm super excited to get this hair transplant done, and we're gonna do every monthly video all over again, showcasing you from the start to finish up until I get a full head of hair. Okay, so I think that's all for my 10-month update this month. I still am in the progress of setting up a service for you guys to be able to contact me more. I'm getting a lot of people on my Instagram messaging me, asking me questions, which is fantastic and great. But I want to build a community for everybody so you guys can even ask these questions to each other. Because to be honest, I'm no expert. I'm just a guy on the internet who has experienced this, and I'm giving you my personal opinion. I just want everyone to speak with each other and maybe give each other advices as well. So I'm kind of working on that right now. But in the meantime, if you have any questions, as always, leave them in the comments below. Do consider liking and subscribing to my videos and wait for the updates. I really appreciate everyone who's followed me on this journey so far, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.